Welcome to Come On Somebody. We have a special guest with us today, Kelsey here, and we get to talk about some fun stuff. I think it's kind of fun. So, Kelsey, I don't know you that well, but I did meet you with my daughter, Mackenzie, because she went on her first mission trip last year.
Yes.
So, it is that time of year where we're having missions again, and I thought it'd be kind of fun to bring you on and kind of talk about mission work. That's one of the great things that we're called to do in the Bible is to go out, spread the word. I've always myself had a hard time with missions when I was younger because I saw so many people go out and do things, but not necessarily do things. They would go on mission trips and come back and be like, oh yeah, we went and talked to these people. And I'm like, but what did you do? Like, did you help them? Did you leave them with something? And sometimes it looked more like a glorified vacation than it did actual mission work. So me as a kid trying to reconcile that in my brain of like, what is mission work? And so if you want to kind of talk about what your role is and everything, like I think that was one of the true times that I've like, oh my gosh, that's mission work. So if you don't mind kind of talking about kind of the mission work, how you got there, just kind of tell us your story.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Kelsey Payne. I am the youth minister currently at Effort Baptist Church. And I also help organize different joint youth events and the joint mission trip that we went on last summer and that will be going on in just a few weeks coming up in July. Very exciting.
Yep.
My first experience with missions was actually about 20 years ago. We used to do Kids on Mission at Effort. And that was just local in our area. And it was for students from 3rd grade to 5th grade. And we would go help out one day at like Meals on Wheels. And then another day we would go to Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
Another day we'd go to the downtown mall in Charlottesville.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's so
hand
smart.
out hygiene kits.
Yeah.
It was just a great time. And it was just like a couple hours a day for kids. But really just to kind of get our feet wet and what missions are and serving and going out and being the hands and feet of the Lord. And then I went on my first youth mission trip when I was in 6th grade. And it was a construction mission trip. And on that trip was when I learned that I was not called to construction work. I actually ended up getting sent back to the church to pick up trash.
Oh, no.
Yes, but it was still a great trip nonetheless. But then I was like, okay, well, let me lean more into where the Lord is calling me and serve there. Because if you're not serving where the Lord is calling, then we're not doing it to glorify the Lord. We're doing it to glorify ourselves.
Yep.
And that's not having the right heart posture behind it. We want to go out to glorify the Lord, not ourselves. So then I waited until we went to Haiti to work in an orphanage. And I was like, kids, totally my jam. Yes, like I'm great at that. So I did that for a couple years.
Like, yes, you take the kids. I was just talking with her just a minute ago about VBS, and I'm like, I don't necessarily work with the kids because I don't necessarily like other people's kids. So, like, obviously, like, there are people we need that will work with the kids. So I'm so thankful for that.
Yes, definitely. And that was a great trip. I went 2 years in a row, and it was wonderful. And then since then, I have been involved in our longstanding Liberia mission partnership. And that is obviously in Liberia and Africa. We partner with Effort Baptist Church, Liberia, which is not a church we started. We just have the same name by the grace of God. And that has been a wonderful mission. We do medical missions and just fellowship evangelism training. We do youth conferences. We help undergird church plants and schools. We do a lot of different stuff, and it's a great experience every year. But I have since gotten back involved in construction mission trips. The Lord has been redeeming them for me. Since now I am the youth minister. I have been the youth minister at Effort for 3 years now. And 3 years.
That's awesome.
Yes. It has been a great time, a wild ride. But what I have learned, so construction mission trips are the standard kind of like youth mission trip because it's just a very real life practical way to go out and help people actually do something physical for them. But also a great way to like get our foot in the door, to be the face of Jesus and hopefully have an opportunity for a conversation present itself. Yeah. And so since that I have been in the position of leading these trips, I have really recognized that part of it. I'm like, oh, it's not about the work. Like, yes, we want to go and help them, of course, but we're just using the construction as the tool to represent Jesus to them. And that is something that I think is so cool that I didn't realize before. I was so focused on just the work of whatever the mission was. Like, oh, we're going to go and do this. And like, yes, but there's an ulterior motive.
I know. One of the things that I think it was Kenzie, it might have been another youth kid from last year shared was that they really enjoyed being able to be there helping these people with their homes because there's the need. And so they can provide something for the need, but then be like, when the people are like, thank you so much for helping us, they'll be like, of course, like, God caused us to help each other. We're a community, we're here for each other, and to really set that example, especially as children. When you see children out there doing things and like outworking adults in ways, it's kind of like your wake up call to be like, oh, I can do better. I should be doing better. If these children are working circles, I mean, granted, there's some things my kids are going to work circles around me if they really put their heart into it. But at the same time, it's like, oh, I could step up. I could go on a mission. There's so many opportunities to get plugged in and go on mission work. Like we just did the Hope for Appalachia, and Kenzie's like, I want to go there someday. And I was like, same, but I think I would be a wreck crying the entire time. And then I may take home other people's children. But yeah, I know she's really looking forward to it. At first, I didn't think she was going to go again because she's like, it's so hot and I didn't get to be on the roof. And I'm like, I don't know if being on the roof would make that any better, Kenzie, because it's even hot up there and you're putting down stuff because they go and they re-roof houses. And to me, I was like, they're letting kids re-roof houses. Is this a great idea? And probably is the mom in me where I'm like, let me watch you do this. Let me control this, where it's like, we really do need to give them that freedom to learn and grow while they're sharing the gospel. And so she's like, yeah, I think I'm going to go again. And then she's already planning, like, I'm going to bring a big magnet because last time I had to do like sweeps for the nails and stuff. So if we could get a big magnet, that's just mine, like a big one, Mom. And I'm like, I'm sure your papa probably has one we can like steal out of his shop, just bring it back so we can sneak it back in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's fun to watch the kids and their minds work. And then you are the youth pastor, so you get to see even more of that. And then was there just a recent trip that you all went on to somewhere else? Did I see that? Did I make that up?
The last trip going someplace was Liberia.
Okay.
And that was December and January.
Okay.
But
all right. Maybe that was
different
if the time flies though.
Yeah, it does. It so does.
Yeah.
But we of course do different local missions too.
Okay. Yeah.
So we did have a group in March go out in Charlottesville, and we had a group go to the Alyssa House, which is like a Ronald McDonald House.
Yes.
For families who have
house.
students. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In care at UVA Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And then we had a group also go out to the Clothing Closet, which is kind of like Goodwill, but much better. Clients can show up and get a whole brown trash bag of clothes for $3 or $6.
Oh wow.
And they fill the whole thing. Or they can come in with coupons and get everything for free.
Yeah.
So that's another great ministry in Charlottesville. And then we had another group go out to the Laurels in Charlottesville, and they went and visited with the residents, and they prayed, and they brought them flowers and just different little sweet things. So that was a great local mission that we did. And then we also have a ministry partnership with the apartment complex across the street from Effort, and we go out once a month and just serve dinner and spend time, hang out with the kids. And so we just did that a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
And now you don't have to be a member or go to Effort to participate.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure if you just would reach out to Kelsey and be like, hey, I really like some of these things you were talking about. How can me and my child get involved in everything? And who knows, maybe you don't have a home church, and not that I don't want you to come to Antioch, but maybe Effort's closer to you. I'm going to admit this, but I drive past Effort to get to Antioch. I have no qualms against Effort. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing. So this just became our home base church, and here we are. So
definitely. Just go where you feel fed.
Exactly. That is so true. I just have really enjoyed watching the youth, grow and everything, and just I don't know if I could ever be a youth pastor. I always say I'm too old, but I feel like I'm too old. Somebody did this little thing with the fingers, and they're like, as I was talking at work, and they're like, clock it. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. And I looked at my fellow technician. I was like, do you know what that means? And she's like, no. And then they're like, oh, we see the age divide. And I'm like, I'm just not cool enough to teach these, but I think you're pretty cool.
I don't know. I feel pretty out of the loop a lot of the time, but it's always, you just got to try and, pick up on things.
Yeah. And I guess
out with them, you can.
Yes. Yeah. And we all have the common word, which is the Bible. So, if we're really sharing that and getting down to the heart of that, then I think everybody can relate to that too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. The Bible's for everybody. So.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And if you don't have one that you feel you can read, then there's so many different translations. That's one of the biggest thing I talk with people too is, you don't have to sit there and read the King James Version. To me, that's like reading Shakespeare.
Yes.
And I'm like, I wasn't good at Shakespeare. I was like, why is it reading this way? This is weird. Who writes like this? So there's plenty of opportunities to read something different, get out there.
Oh,
So
yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Jesus wasn't reading the King James
no,
version.
definitely not. Nope, nope. Yeah.
Wasn't around.
But
it,
we also
so.
don't read Hebrew or Greek, so
Yeah.
I would love to, but I'm not good in languages. I'm trying to learn Japanese, and that's not going so
Oh, that's
well.
cool.
So, but yeah, it's really, really awesome to see all these kids just, full of the Holy Spirit, wanting more,
Mhm.
going places, and just following them and everything. What was one of your favorite memories from being on missions?
Oh my gosh. So definitely last year, we went with Mission Serve to Charlotte, North Carolina. That's the trip that Mackenzie was on.
Yep.
And so the way Mission Serve works, it's a week-long trip. They either have 6 days or 7 days. And last year we were in Charlotte from Sunday to Saturday. And so you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But Wednesday is normally a half of a free day. So you just work half a day. So you have a little bit of time to rest and recover, get ready for the remainder of the week, your last 2 days of work, and finish strong. Because there are kids that don't
Yep.
really work in construction.
Right.
So, they need a little break. Got to have some fun too. So
Yep,
they want to
yep.
come back.
Yeah.
But because Charlotte is such a big and busy city,
It is very big.
and traffic is pretty bad, the city of Charlotte just told us you take the full day off on Wednesday, because it wouldn't be worth, like, by the time you get to your job site and then you need to leave, you'd be there for maybe an hour or so. So just take the whole day off. And we were like, okay, that's great. We were going to go to Carowinds for the day, and which is what we'd done the year before. And it was a great time. Everyone was so excited. But then Tuesday, like afternoon or early evening, we heard that a lot of the job sites were falling behind and they were not on track to finish on time for the week. And so some of our construction captains who we had brought with us, they were going to go and work on the sites while we went to Carowinds. And myself and some of the leaders were like, okay, well, would you want like some more help? Would you get it done faster if we all went?
Right. Yeah.
And if that's what people want to do, and so the adults, we all talked to them. We were like, well, yeah, I mean, we're here to serve.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice to have some rest time. So grateful that they give that to us, but we're here to serve, not to go to Carowinds.
Right.
So let's go out and let's work a half day. So we all went out together and we worked that half a day and then spent the second half at Carowinds. But that first half working, it was just such a great time. And literally so many of the students themselves will tell you that that was their favorite part from the trip, was working that extra half day.
Oh, I don't think Kenzie said that was her favorite part, but that's okay. I won't admit what she said.
There are many great parts, so that does not have to be
and the fact that she's going back, but yeah,
yes.
it is very humbling when you see kids that are willing to step up and be like, I could go have something fun, but no, let's go work that half day. Let's help these people, because how many times as adults are we? Maybe not you, but I know myself and other people, like, we're like, no, I want to go enjoy this. So, I need to go do this. So I'm not going to go to church today. I'm not going to go to Bible study because I'd rather, sit here and watch Netflix or, so many things that we would just rather do when we as adults can get there easier. We don't have to have somebody drive us to church and everything. And here are our kids being like, yeah, let's skip Carowinds. If you don't know what Carowinds is, one, you can look it up. Two, it is an amusement park, but it's kind of like King's Dominion. It's got a water park and everything. I lived in North Carolina. I never went. My husband grew up going, and he's like, oh yeah, Carowinds is so fun.
Yeah.
So, but Kenzie enjoyed it. She hung out with one of the adult leaders the entire time. She said, she's like, sometimes it's just not my jam. So I was like, but she still had fun. So, but to take that, this is your kind of, in a way, a reward, and to be like, no, we can go help more and we can serve more. So, and I know, I think I was talking with Piper Vogt, and she was even talking about afterwards. She's like, yeah, I just really love connecting with the people. She's such a people-y person. It's she is so sweet. And she's like, being able to pray over them and ask them, what is your prayer need? And now, when's the last time you went to your neighbor and said, what's your prayer need? I had one of my neighbors reached out to me this morning. She's amazing. And just was like, hey, FYI, like, the bear got into your trash and everything and got into mine too. And like, so like, she reached out to me. I was like, but when's the last time I asked, like, what can I pray for you?
Yeah.
How can I help you? And here's these kids out there putting roofs on houses and praying for the people and just really being there for them. And it is very humbling, I think. And,
yeah. I agree, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say also with that, so then we did go to Carowinds, for our free time, our fun time, and it was great. But even when we were there in Carowinds and we stopped to have dinner, there was a group of girls going around to different people in the restaurant asking how they could pray for them. and praying with
Aw.
them. And that was really cool too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, even when this is like their free time, their break time,
Yeah.
they're still like, okay, they're still on
Yeah.
fire. They're like, we're still on mission.
Yes, we're
let's.
still on missions.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like every day is our mission field.
Yes, exactly.
You know, and it's like you are starting them young. You're teaching them the right way, like what we should be teaching them in our house, that every day is our mission field, like whether you're in school, whether you're at a job or anything, and to have that going on a mission trip and building them up. And that was the first time that my daughter was ever away from me for that long. She's like
Wow.
never, I mean, she spent the night at other people's, but never been gone for like a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is taking a lot of like faith in all these people, like that they will bring her back alive to me. I reached out. We have family in North Carolina, and I was like reaching out. I was like, okay, Mindy, Chris, Kenzie's gonna be here if she needs a quick needs a quick evac. And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's not that far from us. We got her.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, they may ask you to help build a roof, which they would totally would. They would be like, oh yeah, sure. If they need extra hands, we'll go. They're just family. Awesome. There's just that kind of people. But it took a lot, and then to have her come back to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I then saw her too, not as like this child, but like as like a maturing adult, like a growing woman. And I was just like, I don't think my mom heart was prepared for that. And watching her go, I'm like, okay, don't cry in front of her, don't cry. I still had the other two. I was like, okay, I'll focus on the other two. Not that she's my favorite. I love them all equally, but she's the oldest, and this was the first. So, but just to see her want to go back and see these other kids wanting to go back. Her friend Annabelle was the one that was like, are you going? Are you going? Are you going? And she's like, yeah, I guess I could go. So, and then there's ways to go. Like our church offered her a scholarship to be able to go. So if you want to do something, or your child wants to do it, like don't let the finance of going like hold you back.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like such a blessing to be able to reach out to the church and be like, hey, like Kenzie wants to go on this. Is there a way? And they're like, oh yeah, we'll offer a scholarship and everything, and that's not a problem. And be able to get her to go, because sometimes there is an expense to it.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
And which I understand, because you got to cover like room and lodging, and
materials, and all the things,
and the food and everything and all that. So, and it's there is an expense, even though we like to think that there's not. Like, oh, we're going on mission work, it should be all free. That's not true. So sometimes mission work requires a little bit of funding. But to be able to have a church that was responsive to that and everything, and anybody who came here, I'm sure, like if they were like, I really want to go on this mission trip, we're gonna help you get plugged in. So
yeah, absolutely.
You can't let those things keep you from playing the game, I guess you could say.
The Lord is not bound by a price tag. So he can work outside that.
You got it. Yep. You guys also had recently the big Youth Awakening event at what was that? The Scottsville Pavilion.
Yes.
So, which is amazing. And I have a friend that lives down there in Scottsville, and she says it's one of her favorite nights because she can open her window and just hear the praising of the Lord and all these voices. And sometimes she says, I'll wander over, but I know it's like for teen. I'm like, it's for everybody.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you wanted to share a little bit about that and like, the spirit that was working that day.
Yeah. The revival. Oh my gosh. It's just such a great weekend every year. This was the fourth one that we've done. So it's a Friday night and Saturday night outside. We have games and fun, and then we have worship and a message. And it's always just a call for students to surrender their lives. There's a difference in between believing in Jesus and following Jesus. Difference between salvation and surrender. It's just going that one step further, like, excuse me, recognizing, okay, I believe in this Jesus guy and what he does, but what does it look like to give him my life, to live with him, to follow him? And that is a deeper calling, and that is a calling that we have. The Bible says, go and make disciples, not converts, not believers, disciples. And that's following Jesus. And we just every year have seen, like, the Spirit shows up. It shows up mightily. Students have been saved from self-harm and from depression, from alcohol abuse, from sexual temptation. Like, students are just delivered year after year. Like, we sometimes think miracles need to look bigger, like we think of medical like healings or whatever, but like a student being delivered from depression and suicidal ideation, that is a miracle right there. And that was the Lord showing up and healing that student. So it's just incredible every year to see the impact that the Lord has in that space, in that atmosphere, when students show up, when anyone shows up in his name and seeking him, like you will find him.
Right. Yeah. I always like to watch, I like people watching, and when I'm there, it's always kind of neat to watch all these different groups of people coming together from different churches. Where I grew up in Washington State, and we had different schools that, so we had within the district and stuff, and then so you would compete against those different schools. And Fluvan is different because we all go to one high school, we all go to one middle school, so you are stuck with those same people
the whole time.
But yes, and so but there's different friends groups within there, and they are intermingling. But then we had draw from Buckingham, and some kids coming from Albemarle and everything, and it's so neat to really see the kids get to know each other, mingle together, and realize we are all one, working for the same purpose under the grace of God, and we are here to support each other, no matter I work on a farm, I'm a jock, whatever it may be, they all are here together and getting along and everything, and just raising their voices for one. It's just it truly is a touching and just such a moment where you're just the Holy Spirit is definitely here, and it's you can feel it. So and we do it once a year. Sometimes I wish we would do it more, but I know it's hard and it takes a lot of volunteers and everything. But so it's just next year, you guys got to keep your ears and your eyes out. Send your kids. It's fun. They feed them, they play games with them. And you too can, we have adults that hang out and everything, because they're kids, they need supervision. So but
just big kids.
And I think that so many kids too, I think take the opportunity to say, hey, I want to be baptized. I don't know how many came forward. Do you remember?
Last year it was about 24, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even think it was that many. That's amazing.
It was a big group last year.
Yeah.
The year before was, I think, around 12 or so.
Okay.
And this year I think was around 5 or so.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, it's different every year.
Yeah.
But it's not really about
the numbers.
The number.
Right,
because someone, again, we're talking about the difference between salvation and surrender. So someone might have already committed their life to Christ, but they're not walking alongside him yet. And maybe that weekend is when they're oh my gosh, I realize this barrier that I've had between living for him, living fully, and just believing in him. So maybe they break down that wall, and they don't need to get rebaptized. Maybe they've already been baptized, but they're recognizing for the first time, oh, I'm not living with him.
Right. Yeah. I think we as adults can take that lesson too and realize, oh, I'm not living with him. I was baptized as a kid 7 years, or not 7 years ago, when I was 7, and then realize oh, I haven't been walking that way, and I need to rededicate my life and recommit to him. So, but it's just, you are doing wonderful work, and I am so thankful that that God puts people where they need to be. They really you. If you just as Dave and I have talked about, if you just humble yourself and, make that scary prayer of okay, God, put me where you need to be.
Yeah.
I prayed one day, I was just put me in the path that somebody needs me. And then I had a client pass out, and I was this was not what I had intended. I work on pets, not people, but we were able to help. So, but it's a big leap of faith, and just knowing that it's by God's grace that he's going to lead us to help and do these things. It's not by us alone. So I am very thankful that God puts you in my child's path, because here she is going back on another mission trip.
Yes,
I remember looking at her too, and she was drawing names of who she's she had a plan of who she was going to ride in that van with. And then here comes Kelsey, okay, everybody's going to draw out of my Bible, and that's who you're riding with. And that child just looked at me nope, this is the deal breaker. I was you will be fine. You will make a new friend. And I remember her walking, okay, I'm not riding with Annabelle, and walking up to her van. She's I can do this. And she's I don't know anybody in here. And Ben, sweet Ben, was hi, I don't know anybody either. I'm Ben.
Aww.
And she's hi, Ben, I'm Mackenzie. And he's great, now we know somebody. I was I love this kid. I'm keeping him.
Yeah,
it was, and that's what she needed. God put him in that van with her. And they ended up playing soccer together too.
That's awesome.
Later, I was oh, you know Ben? He was on the mission trip. She's oh, yeah,
great.
that's right. So it is crazy how God works. And if you just look for it, he's always there, and he's always helping, and he's alongside you. He is your comforter, as we've talked about. So, I just, can't say enough about getting plugged in, doing a mission trip, doing something. And it doesn't have to be out in Liberia. It doesn't have to be in another part of the country. Like you said, going downtown mall, the Alyssa House, all these different opportunities. There's so many opportunities. You kind of you can trip over them, but we just often don't look for them because we're oh, I don't have time. I can't do that. So we just need to get ourselves out there. And, these kids are an inspiration. You helping them get there. We can look to you all for examples of what we need to be doing as adults.
Yeah. Missions has many different faces. It definitely can be going to Africa. It can be doing medical missions. It could be working on a roof in Lynchburg, which is what we'll be doing this summer. or it can be going to the downtown mall or the Alyssa House, or it can be walking next door to your neighbor and saying, "How are you doing today?
Yep.
How can I pray for you?"
Yep.
Yeah. It doesn't always have to be
Absolutely.
about work. It can be your words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
the work is really just a way to try and get the words.
Yep.
in
You
there,
got it.
you know?
Yep. So,
Mhm.
well, we will be praying for you all as you go and you take all
Thank
this
you.
group of teenagers. And I thank you for being on our podcast.
Yes, this was so
And,
fun.
you know,
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and let us know if you need anything. We're here.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm willing to go get on a roof, but you know, I will send some snacks. I don't know. Oh, but we just thank you so much, and we'll be praying for you and everybody that goes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So that has been our episode of Come On Somebody, and we hope that you have a great week. Don't forget, every day's your mission field.
Absolutely.
We'll see you later.
Thank you for tuning in to the Come On Somebody podcast. I hope that the episode is really encouraging you and giving you something to think about so you'll draw closer to Jesus this week. We want you to continue to enjoy it, and if you like it, please subscribe and follow the channel. If you would like to know more about what's going on at Antioch Baptist Church, you can check out our website at www.antiochva.org. We hope that you stay tuned, and we hope to see you again next week. Thanks for watching.